Alright, y'all, well, this is not a fucking drill. We are here to talk about 21 Jump Street. I'm not even going to play around with this one. This is one of the most special movies, one of my favorite movies I will ever cover on my channel. And you guys see, we have over 130 already edited movie reviews, and we covered a lot more movies before that. We probably have over 300 movie reviews out here. Not a lot of them really compare to this. This is one of my most watched comedies of all time, growing up as a kid. One of those movies you just kind of throw on at night, whether you're going to bed for the night or you're at a sleepover with your friends and you want some laughs, you want a good time. This was the go-to. This was one of the go-tos. Obviously, we'll get into Superbad and kind of its comparison to that because, well, Jonah Hill was a part of both of these projects, but it's one of those movies you would throw on at a sleepover. And if you can make a bunch of high schoolers laugh, you can make damn near anybody laugh. No matter how times I've seen it, it just hits every single time. I mean, it is 21 fucking Jump Street. And honestly, this might be the best comedy duo ever put on screen. I know there's a lot of stuff about Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and certainly I respect those two. I've watched plenty of their movies together, but Channing Tatum, fucking, oh my god. Gay! I wish they did more movies together. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, it's literally perfect. It's a match made in heaven, especially for a high school comedy flick. Let's get into it. Getting into the premise, the movie basically follows two former high school opposites. You have Schmidt, who is played by Jonah Hill. He's the nerd, he's awkward, he gets no girls. He is the typical weirdo. He's in these weird ass clubs. And then you get Janko. Channing Tatum obviously has to play the jock. Super popular, obviously an absolute idiot. He's kind of a flunky. He's getting flunked out of going to prom at shitty grades, gets F's on everything, and I mean, he's obviously just an idiot in general. But they reconnect later in life as cops. They go through this academy and they're helping each other pass exams, like the physical exam Jonah needs help with, and Janko needs help passing like the mental stuff, like the test, is this a felony or not. And they get assigned to go undercover in a high school to bust a drug ring. Obviously, they kind of get thrown off of a police squad and get thrown to like the Sparkle Squad version, where they have to work themselves back up, make a big bust or arrest, and promote up. I don't know if that's how it actually happens in the real police world. I feel like that's a little shady, but still. Here is the twist. Their roles do completely flip, basically, simply because they got the names mistaken. And that's where the movie really takes off. I'm not going to say much more, get into any more. You guys have already seen this, and for the most part, I'm sure this is one of the most popular comedies of the 2010s. It's a part of an era of one of like the last really good batch of comedies. Jonah Hill, baby. Getting into the good, I just want to start with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. This is the comedy duo to me. Again, people a generation older than me grew up watching John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell in movies like Step Brothers and Talladega Nights. This was my duo. I know it's only two movies. Obviously, Jonah Hill in general was my comedian growing up. Superbad, this. He obviously played some side characters in movies like The 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was my comedian growing up. A little bit of Adam Sandler, but for the most part, Jonah Hill really is the successor to a lot of those great comedians, and I think this is what makes the movie. No debate. I mean, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are perfect together. They're polar opposites in stature. They're polar opposites in personality. Jonah kind of brings that awkward but confident, kind of relatable energy. Like, he can fit into a crowd if he really wants to, but some things kind of prevent him from doing that. And if you give him a nice background and he earns his keep, he'll fit in. And then you get Channing. He's kind of the dumb jock, but somehow he makes it hilarious and lovable. He's a likable, he's a funny, he's a connectable type of jock. That's why I love Channing Tatum. He's so charismatic that no matter how douchey he may come off on screen, I still really enjoy most of the roles he does. Again, we watched Roofman earlier on in the year, and it really doesn't stop there. Channing Tatum. And the role reversal was absolutely genius. That whole plot throughout the movie, Schmidt becoming the cool kid, Janko becoming kind of the outcast and a part of the nerdy group. They still carry pieces of their old selves. It does make it feel real, and a combination of the original character and their role reversal kind of makes for a much more realistic outtake on the high school stereotype. This is actually how it works in real life sometimes. Sometimes the athletic, jockier people have a little bit of nerd in them. Sometimes the nerds are cool as shit and people connect to them. There is a middle ground. It's not just radical ass stereotypes and cliques and stuff like that. I think this movie nails it, and it was super relatable because at the time I started watching this movie, I was going through middle school and high school. That balance is what makes their chemistry feel so natural. I mean, by the end of the movie, they're not just partners. They literally take on the role of brothers. They're obviously tasked with being brothers for this undercover mission by Dixon, shout out to Ice Cube. But by the end, they actually care for each other, and there's actually an emotional connection there. And that is what really hypes me up to watch 22 Jump Street, which we will be getting into as well. And getting into the comedy style, I mean, there's just a perfect balance balance. This movie has everything you would want in a comedy and more. This might be the most balanced comedy I've ever seen, and it's probably not going to change for 22. I mean, there's dumb humor, there's smart satirical jokes, there's situational comedy, there's straight up chaos, there's ironic situations. It all works. Every single type of comedy that they touch upon in this movie absolutely works. Nothing feels forced. You get things from forgetting the Miranda rights, dry humping suspects, Schmidt trying too hard to fit in, kind of turning on Janko and talking shit about him even though this isn't who he actually is. Janko struggling in class and being a fucking retard. It's just constant entertainment, and obviously this movie is packed, absolutely packed with iconic moments. The drug trip scene alone, they're showcasing the drug. He's in like the Captain Dixon's office and he's showing them what this drug does to people. It's kind of the drug around the streets, and part of me feels like this movie's like a Mac and Devin go to high school, but a more comedic, legitimate take on it. Love that movie, by the way. I know not a lot of people like that movie, but it's an all-time comedy scene of just going through the trip and like the phases. I think phase one is, there's one that's like, hell yeah, motherfucker. Then you get sleepy at the end. There's moments throughout where you're like super confident. I mean, these are real like side effects of drugs, and they're kind of playing on it and dramatizing it to make a comedic film. And there's just like, you're staring off in space. I mean, first you're like tripping ball sack, of course. The slow build up, like the phases hitting. Bro, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Then it all crashes. I mean, holy shit. There's other highlights. I mean, there's plenty of other iconic comedic moments. Schmidt's party at his parents' house. The track scene. The party in itself where they get into the fight with these jocks from like the crosstown rivalry school, and fucking Jonah's character somehow gets an antler stuck in his back. They pull it out. They're like, yeah! It's fucking awesome. I love this movie. The track scene of him fucking around and the coach like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't remember that actor's name, but he is one of the best characters in this movie, and I think he does show up in plenty of other comedies. That was kind of his niche at the time. Side character that came in for the occasional laughs. Ice Cube obviously was great, yelling at them in the office, like making the funny jokes and being ultra aggressive and profane. The undercover nerd squad hacking the phones at that Schmidt party was fucking funny and awesome. Them being nerds is fucking hilarious. The lightsaber handshake and like him saying the password to get into the room to study with them. Even the final shootout has some comedy. The shootout is insane. It's funny and legit hype. And getting into kind of the action and the comedy, the way it works hand in hand, it's like no other movie I've ever seen before. Again, 22 will do the same thing, but this is where the movie separates itself compared to other comedies. The action isn't just there, it actually adds to the comedy. There's other movies. We talked about Money Talks recently, which was kind of espionage, intense action film with a pretty high stake for the most part. But this one takes the action and makes it fucking funny. The car chases, the shootouts, the explosions, it's crazy. Everything has a comedic twist. Everything has comedic meaning that happens here. The explosion happening at like the least expected time, them kind of fumbling situations and letting suspects and people get away, arresting the wrong people or handling an arrest in the wrong way. It's just absolute fun. And also just getting into the supporting cast. I mean, there's plenty of really good supporting characters. Ice Cube as Captain Dixon is absolutely perfect, and we already kind of touched upon him. I think Dave Franco, I did kind of forget how amazing this cast is, by the way. There are so many great actors and actresses in this thing. Dave Franco is somewhat of like a douchey, rich, nerdy kid. We all know a kid like that. He's annoying in like the best way. He's pretty much an antagonist to an extent to this film, especially because he doesn't like Channing Tatum's character, and he is a big bad they're going after, part of this kind of drug ring with the biker gang. But he's so effective as a character. I think Brie Larson as Molly acts just as any high school girl would act when some random guy stumbles into their life. I think she's very grounded as a love interest. Again, I kind of forgot that Brie Larson was in this movie, but that is so awesome. The Schmidt and Molly relationship is a little weird if you think about it. Like, there's obviously some controversies. There's obviously some things that didn't quite age as well with this movie as you would want it to, but I mean, come on, who cares? It works for the movie. I don't support that. I don't support people in their mid-20s dating high school girls. I think that is gross. Rewatchability, this is where the movie becomes elite. I could watch this movie literally every day. It is one of the most rewatchable comedy films I have ever seen. It's extremely rare to have comedies like that. A lot of these comedies come and go. Would I watch Spaceballs again? Maybe. I wouldn't watch Money Talks again. I probably wouldn't even watch Wedding Crashers again, even though a lot of people like those films. It's a comfort movie. It's a movie you could throw on in the background. It's a lock-in watch. You can do anything with this movie. It is so versatile from a rewatchability standpoint. That is why it's so good. You're going to see quite the positive review, because for the bad, I mean, honestly, there's barely anything here. We could absolutely nitpick. Some of the humor is a bit over the top. Maybe I could kind of acknowledge that. The certain injury scene at the end, I'm not going to get into it. It's a little vivid. It's a little graphic. The age gap stuff is a little weird if you really think about it. I mean, obviously, the plot is kind of ridiculous. You don't really really see this every fucking day. Maybe you would if you're in Cali. I think they are in Cali potentially, but damn, going undercover like this, it's fucking crazy. Shit like this actually happens, but nothing I say here actually hurts the movie. Again, I'm being very nitpicky, and some of this again is kind of acknowledgments for stuff that people would potentially bring up when discussing this movie, because some people are Karens, some people kind of enforce cancel culture on shit that came out over 10 years ago, damn near 15 years ago at this point, and nitpick shit about it and try to find a reason to cancel it. It's like, what the fuck? And getting into the okay, again, the bad and the okay, everything about this movie is basically good. The villain is more of a stereotype than anything deep. They do have a lot of stereotypes. There are things that they kind of force on you. It seems like this movie is kind of covering a turn of a millennial with some of the stuff they're talking about. Some jokes are dumb. That is kind of the point. It leans into the chaos over realism. There's obviously some pretty fucking insane shit that happens here, and there's obviously some plot armor and plot convenience and stuff if you wanted to comment on it, but again, that's exactly what makes it fun. That's exactly what makes it work as a comedy film. Nothing is really going to falter this movie for me. I could watch it till the day I die. I know I was only 9 or 10 years old when this movie came out, but I will definitely be showing my kids one day this movie because it's fucking awesome, dude. Seriously. I don't have anything else to say. Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum delivered one of the greatest comedies, definitely the best comedy franchise of the 2010s, and possibly one of the best comedies of all time. I'm not even joking. Getting into the review, this movie is damn near perfect for what it's trying to be. It's hilarious, it's action-packed, it is endlessly rewatchable, packed with iconic moments. Obviously 22 Jump Street we will get into here in a second. That is even more jam-packed with iconic moments, and most importantly, it feels real while still being ridiculous. There's still some groundedness to it. There's still things that very much happen in real life, and there's a lot of high school stereotypes and high school commentary they're making, and it seems like some personal shit coming from Jonah Hill. That's hard to do though. Between the chemistry, the humor, the energy, this is easily one of the best comedies of its era and one of the best comedies of all time. This might actually be the best comedy duo ever. Again, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill take on a duo of their own. We have never seen a duo like this on screen, and it is so fucking awesome. On the right day, this feels like a 10 out of 10 comfort comedy. It is an easy 9 out of 10 at least. This movie is at least a 9 out of 10. I love the fuck out of it. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I know that is kind of basic because it is popular. It is very A-list. It was very popular, almost a cult classic for the time it came out. I will never stop watching this movie. When I go to bed at night, I watch it. When I'm editing videos, I'll turn it on in the background. It's fucking great, and I do need to start doing that more. I definitely don't do that enough. But with that being said, I am out, everybody. Jeezy TV covering your favorite movies, comedy films. Obviously, I'm going through a list. I kind of have an agenda. Marty Supreme is coming out this Friday, as you may have saw by some Twitter announcements. By the way, go follow the socials if you haven't. But man, there's a lot of shit coming down the pipeline. Stranger Things, Tale of 85. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to review that on the channel, but that's definitely something I could add to my watch list if I need some more content. But so many comedy films down the pipeline. We are just getting started, baby.